All right, I'm going to do something a little bit different today. Now, let's get out of here. So, I finally started playing uh, Gran Turismo. So here's the case. It's all dinged up. Well, kind of, sort of. But yeah, so it's the Gran Turismo Sport, and I have to say, when I play Gran Turismo, what sort of drives me crazy when I play this, and I finally get it all set up. It took forever for me to set up because I get it, I plug it in, and I'm like, okay, so I got to do an update. Ugh, and that took forever. And then I wait and I get ready to play it again, and then it needs another update, and that took forever. So it's like, okay, all right, seriously, can I just play it now? But when I get playing it, the one thing that's interesting to me with Gran Turismo is when I balance it against Need for Speed. And Need for Speed Underground 2 is the greatest racing game ever. I said that on Twitter last night, and I'm saying it here. Need for Speed Underground 2 is the greatest racing game ever in the history of racing games. It's perfect. I think it's great. Now, I know there's people who like Most Wanted better. That's fine. Most Wanted drove me insane. And it drove my whole family insane at the time because we couldn't get past, none of us, and it wasn't just me, it was none of us. We couldn't get past, I think it was the wanted list number 8. I think it was 8 that we just couldn't. And eventually we were like, forget it. But Underground 2, I was able to complete over and over and over. And part of the beauty of Underground 2 was the replayability. So the cutscenes were awful, but the replayability was good. The amount of customization you could do with your cars was fantastic. And it's something that I feel like Need for Speed after that sort of lost its way with. Now, Need for Speed Heat, I've played a couple of times, but then I plugged this in. And let's be honest, this is absolutely the greatest. So there's single race there. I've been doing a bunch of races, and what to me sets the table as to whether or not it's a good game is whether or not I get mad. And what makes me mad isn't whether or not I'm winning. For some people, that may be what makes them mad, but for me, it's is this fair? One thing with Need for Speed was no matter how well I was racing, no matter how well I was doing, I knew there was a car right on my backside. And if I was bad, I could still be first. If I was good, I'd still be first. And their time would be adjusted based on how I was driving. In this game, that doesn't happen. So if you're taking a line that doesn't work, you're going to have a bad result. If you're taking a line that works, you should have a good result. There was a race I did in here. So we'll go in here. Now, the North Isle Speedway is nice because that's your NASCAR-style track. And then there's this one here, Blue Moon Speedway, which, honestly, the Blue Moon one, much more difficult, I found. And then when I finally finished first, I did it with a go-kart. So I unlocked a go-kart, and I was like, let's try a go-kart race, because then they're all the same. And it worked. Then I did a race online yesterday. Now, racing online can be absolutely horrible. But racing online here, I started 10th because I wasn't able to do the warm-ups and get a better pole position. And by the end of the race, I was 4th. And I was really proud that I was 4th. I was against other racers. There was only one that dropped out. And most of the other racers, nobody was driving like a dick. And I was 22 seconds behind the actual winner, which makes sense. I haven't been playing this game that long. It doesn't make any sense that I'd be the best one in an online race. But then it gives you all the bonus points. And then because I completed a race online, it gave me a lot of points, and that was a lot of fun. So one thing I look for with a video game when it comes to the whole car racing thing is that it's not necessarily a storyline and it doesn't have to be linear. Drive Club is very good for that too. Drive Club is good. I have that on here too. I've been playing Drive Club. The only reason I don't do live streams where I'm racing is because when I'm racing, I don't answer questions. I don't want somebody bugging me a million times. So there's no point in me live streaming racing on any of this unless I wasn't going to be taking questions and I'm literally just live streaming myself playing video games. Which, I don't know, you guys can let me know in the comment section below if you like or dislike that idea, but for the most part, live streams, if you don't have the interaction, I don't know that there's much point. Now, I believe I did one on the Tsukuba circuit. There's Kyoto, I know I've done one on that one so far. But what gets me excited, and I'm kind of a giant nerd this way, is that there's this Route X, which is fantastic. I'm pretty sure that was in a previous Gran Turismo as well. And then there's Nurburgring. And I know I'm going to be butchering that, but Nurburgring is so long and it is so frustrating. I remember This was the one that when I had it, I want to say in the previous one, I'm trying to remember which one I was racing that with. The Bugatti. I think it was the Bugatti I had that was just, it was crazy. Now you have to be a level 20 to unlock that course. It is a long course. But once you figure it out, you feel a real sense of accomplishment. And I think that's important with games when it comes to racing. Is the frustration level shouldn't be that high. You should be competitive. But that frustration level and that idea of there being a catch-up mechanic, it shouldn't really be in there. It's in this game too. It is. But it's not as obvious. So there were been a couple of races where I know I'm like 0.2 of a second ahead of the guy behind me, just breathing down my neck. But it still feels fair, and it still feels like, yeah, that makes some sense. Whereas with Need for Speed games, I would get so frustrated where I'd be 8 seconds ahead, and then I'd look over at the indicator again like half a lap later. I'm like, wait, now I'm 4 seconds ahead? I'm racing clean. I'm racing well. How are they catching up? And then you'd get to the finish line. You'd either barely be ahead of them, or even more frustratingly, you'd finish behind them. You'd be like, wait, I raced a perfect race. What more am I supposed to do? Whoever does the development for Gran Turismo gets it right. They understand racing. They understand gaming. They understand race game. Now, here's where people are going to say, well, what about that one on Xbox? Yeah, I haven't. I have it on Xbox. I haven't played it yet, which is, I think I have Forza Horizon 4. I'm trying to think of which Forza game it is that I have. I think it's Forza Horizon 4, which I haven't played yet. It might be one of the Forza Motorsports too, though. Forza games look fantastic, but on the PS4, to me, it's Gran Turismo. Now, I will check out and start playing Forza now that I've got back into this, because again, racing games can be really frustrating. One thing with the Need for Speed ones, when you're doing the cops and the racers, which is Need for Speed Rivals, which is a fun game, but once you get to a certain level, you're like, oh man, seriously, this is dumb. How did I get caught here? Wait, they just appeared there? One of my biggest problems was they just appeared right there. Oh, awesome, that's magic. Whereas with this, you don't have to worry about, it's just racing. You don't have to worry about cops and all that, and it's honestly a whole lot of fun. So I'm doing this more for people who may not do the racing games thing, because I'm known more for the hockey and all that. But you want to break from hockey and do some racing, this is the one for me. This is so far great. And again, I will play the Forza game I have. I will. Again, with Forza, it was I buy it, I plug it in, and I'm like, oh, massive update. Oh, okay, all right, crap. And so, you got to find something else to do, and then when you come back, you got other things to do. But I'd be interested to know from you guys, what do you think is the best racing game on the market? And how would you rate Forza compared to Gran Turismo? Because for Forza, for me, I've played older Forza games. I want to say like almost back to Xbox before the 360 level. I want to say, yep, I think the last, it would be Xbox before even the 360. So way before the Xbox One. And, again, for me, it's a matter of it needs to feel realistic. You need to feel a sense of accomplishment without that frustration. And you can accept losing that way. Again, I don't care that I was fourth in that race. It was kind of like, hey, I passed 6 guys. That's pretty cool. And it was fair. Everybody driving the same car. You can't buy your way to a better result, which is something I've complained about with other video games. But let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And now I'm going to probably do myself a little bit of a race, because according to the weather, that's probably what I'm going to get done today. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.